Hey guys, welcome back to the Mitch Murray Podcast. This is Thomas Wilmer and Dan Manili, and this is episode 7. Today we're going to be talking about a good strategy for new investors to get involved in, and we're going to go over a couple of different things that people can do. What's the first thing we should talk about, Dan?
Well, let's just assume that you're in a real estate deal already, like you own a property, or you're getting ready to own a property. The old saying, slow and steady wins the race, is one of the things we implement is, and it's not always that we finish it or it ends up like this, but we always try to look at things in like a 5-year window. What will happen in 5 years? What can we do with this deal in 5 years? How much money can we make? What's the long-term objective? And for people just getting started or newer in this business, it would be good if they could acquire a property and think of it as a 5-year window. And one of the options that we always do or think about doing is, in that 5-year window, what's going to happen is hopefully the rents go up. Hopefully we take care of the property. Right? We get a good tenant and we take care of the property. A lot of our deals, the asset, the property, the real estate that we buy is considered an asset because it's making money. We make sure that the mechanicals are all new, the property's updated, it's clean, it's a nice building, it's going to last for 15 years.
Yeah, new HVAC, new plumbing, new electric. We expect to have at least 15 years of life.
Which is what you want. And then, so let's say all of that is in place. Now, what you want to do is make sure you secure a good tenant, and of course, there's ways to, protect yourself to do that. And then, hopefully, during that 5 years, the rents go up,
right? Which
they should go up. You should be in the habit of increasing rents on the existing tenants, and then, and it doesn't have to be.
What's a good number you think, that people should at least start off with?
Well, what's important initially is, are you at the market rent or higher? Because how many buildings do we look at where you go in and they say, yeah, I have tenants. The leases are outdated.
Yeah.
They're on a month to month, or people even say they don't have a lease, which technically they do have a lease. It's just month to month, and the rents are low. And sometimes you get into that situation where the tenant doesn't complain. It really is not a good idea, because the tenant doesn't complain about things because they don't want the rent to go. They think if they are a burden, then the landlord's going to raise the rent. So they conceal defects in the property that they're willing to live with that we wouldn't be if we were living there. And then you get to this cycle, it kind of repeats itself. So you want to have market rent or higher to start, and then it's good, review the market. Coming up on we just did it with Ontario Street. Review the existing market. Doesn't take that long. What are the current rents in the area? See that you're still in that, threshold of where they are, and then you could go 5%. 5% is a good number. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower. Sometimes the tenant will express. We've increased rents sometimes people $25.
Yeah.
And we don't want to hurt them. We're doing it because we need to establish that there's going to be an increase. And we don't want to not do an increase. And we know it's only $25, but we want to prepare them that, hey, this year we did the lowest that we could possibly do, but next year we want you to be aware the rent's going to go up a normal amount.
Right.
And what is a normal amount? If it's 5% and the rent's $2,000, that's $100. Which is significant. The reason why it's significant in this idea, in this strategy, is because the higher these rents go, the more value it adds to what the property is really worth. So 5 years, and this is very quick. We could explain this. It's so easy to do. You have to have patience, and you can't be trying to get rich quick in one deal. It's not going to happen, or it's very unlikely. It can happen, but it's so unlikely. The idea is now you maintain the property, you have a good tenant in place, the rents have gone up. Hopefully over those 5 years, the values have gone up. And now you look at to what that value is, and you look to do a refinance, and you look to pull the cash out of that deal. And why is that? Why do you want to pull that cash out? Well, of course, the best thing to do is to take the cash and reinvest it into another deal or into something else that's going to throw off more cash.
Right.
But hopefully the cost of that money, borrowing that money, is low or lower than what you were paying, and it doesn't really increase your payment that much, but you still have a good asset, you still have a good tenant, you still have good rents coming in, you're still able to afford the monthly payment, and now you have that cash to do something with. And here's the best part, and this is why we want to do it. This is why it makes the most sense. The cash that you're getting is tax-free.
Yes.
It's not income. It's debt, and it's the best debt. Mortgage debt against an asset that's throwing off cash is the best debt. And that's why we want to implement that strategy, because now we can get our hands on the cash and we can do something more with it to make more money.
And it's sort of like when we tell homeowners that's been owning a property for 30 years, okay, your house is worth a lot more than what you bought it for, but just think about if you would have pulled that money out 15 years earlier. That would have been 15 years of an investment that you could have made money on. That's what we're talking about. 5 years. You get in, do the job, collective rents over 5 years, then pull that money out so we can reinvest it into another deal to make more money off of that project.
And even think about what you just said. There are a lot of people that have a home that they've been in for a long time. They've paid off the mortgage, so now there's no debt against this property. And some of these properties are worth $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. So if you have $500,000 in equity in a property, you're really losing money because of inflation and what the value of the property is continuing to be worth. So now you have access to potentially a substantial amount of money that you're getting no return on.
Right.
So not only is the cost of everything going up, but you're not getting any return on the money. So it actually makes your return on the money negative,
right,
which means you're losing money of what you should be or could be making. And conservatively, if you borrowed the money now and you did just an investment in the stock market or into a conservative mutual fund or in the S&P 500, you could see a 3 to 5% gain on your money. What does that equal? Okay, it's $25,000 a year. If you had a $500,000 home and you got your hands on the $500,000 in cash and you invested it at 9% and you paid 5% in interest, that's a 4% swing. It's $20,000 a year. It's like $1,600 a month in income. Right. Now, for some people, they might say, I don't want to go through all that hassle. But really, you don't? Well, what if it was $5,000 a month? I always say that to you. Sometimes the people say, the money doesn't mean anything until it's a lot of money. And then you're like, okay, now it does mean something.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes people, and a lot of times people don't know, they don't realize this, or they don't think like this, but the money is melting away in your home.
That's true. And on our property in West Philly, so yeah, I know, a lot of this property was on a cash deal, but we're going to be getting a DSCR loan on this property. Our payment is probably going to be around $1,300, $1,400 a month, but the rent that we're expecting is probably going to be $2,200. So that's, a surplus every month. Yes, we're going to have this payment that we're going to be paying, but we're still going to be getting a taste of a profit after we get this DSCR loan.
And if this is our latest deal, which is great. We should do something on that because it took 30 days. Yeah. We did this whole thing in 30 days. Pretty impressive.
Maybe on the next episode we'll talk about that.
Maybe we can even go there, but you could see it's impressive what we did. We're going to do a before and after video. And literally, I think today is the 4th. So on Friday the 7th, the property's going active for rent. And we started the job on October 6th.
Yes.
So that is impressive. But on that particular property, if you look, what's a good 5-year strategy? We're going to be in that deal for the right amount of money with a nice spread for what the rent's going to be. And in 5 years, it's going to be worth more money. And one way we know is that we already see sales on the block that are much higher than what our conservative number was.
Yep.
So we know in the future it's going to be worth more money. And there's this nice spread, like he said, $500 to $800 a month, that in the future, if we did need money 5 years from now, we could do a refinance on that property, pull out the excess cash. We still have a nice spread to be able to afford maybe more of a monthly payment. It turned out to be a great deal there for us. And we're going to hold it.
Yep.
We're going to hold that. We know we're going to hold it. We know we're going to try to get a good tenant. And we know that 5 years from now, it's great. Here's another thing. It's on a great block. When you go to the block, you see the way the homes are, the way they're kept. You see what, the area. You get a feel for it. So we know we have a good location, a good house. Everything is new in the house, which is great. And now we can just play the game and be patient and wait. And 5 years from now, there's a little payday for us.
And that's what you were talking about earlier. We already know that we did mostly everything in this house brand new. So maintenance costs is going to be low. I know things happen, but when you're looking at it, we know that we're probably going to be able to get a good 10 to 15 years of life from all the mechanicals in the house. So we're probably on the next episode, we'll talk about that project. Like Dan said, we might even go there and
that would be good to do that.
Yeah, take some videos and pictures.
Yeah.
But so after that strategy, is there something else that we can talk about for the 5-year strategy?
Well, for us, if you do multiple properties, see, we're involved in multiple deals, actually in multiple states. And if you could,
I know we're on a steroid trajectory right now. But for a regular
trying
person,
to grow. We're pushing. But I'm saying, if you do that, if you did a property this year, and then you do another property next year, and then you do another property. So let's say in a 3 or a 4 year period, you were able to get 3 properties. Then you could play the game a little more aggressively in still being patient, but now in that 5-year window, instead of refinancing 1 property, you can refinance 3 properties. If I told you, Thomas, be patient, and I have told you this, be patient, and 5 years from now, I'm going to write you a check for $150,000.
Yeah.
And it's by the way, it's tax free.
Tax free.
Go have some fun. We look at that line from Michael Douglas in the movie Wall Street, where he says, I just put $800,000 in your account. Go play with it, have some fun. And I'm not saying go play with it, have some fun, but I'm saying, that's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
On these deals that's coming. So you almost can plan in advance to say, hey, let's bundle these 3 properties, these 5 properties, these 10 properties. And, I think we are projected that there's at the end of 2026, we could start a refi where there's like $1 million available in cash that can take us to another level, that we can reinvest that money. And we know it's going to happen because we know what the numbers are right now.
But tell the audience, if we, $1 million, what type of deal can that get you into? Yeah,
so you can use that on a $5 million acquisition if you wanted to finance it.
Yep.
Or you could buy something that's really depressed for $1 million or $500,000 and spend $500,000 in renovations. It actually, the more money you have access to, the more opportunity you have. The more It's no longer, let me get involved in a $50,000 home that I can buy that's in a marginal area and needs a lot of work. It might be able to take you to the next level and buy something bigger. Plus, somebody young. Think about this, and I always talk about Sophia because now she's in college and she's asking these questions, thinking about it. But let's say she did have 3 properties. By the time she was 25, and she's looking to get involved more in her life is developing. Now she might be able to take those 3 properties, refinance them, and have $100,000 for a down payment on a home that she wants to buy, or something else that she wants to do. But it actually is a tool that opens up the more opportunities for you.
Right. I think we touched on a lot, in this short little video, but I think that's pretty much it for today.
Yeah, and we're going to try to do something, with this house in West Philly next week. We'll probably do.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Always be closing.
Thanks for checking us out.